What up, my brothers and sisters by God? Basically this person named Cartoon Universe trash talked the Ben 10 reboots. So now I'm gonna make a video on her video because she trash talked the Ben 10 reboot. So yeah, let's watch this video.
Hello everyone, this is Haley from Cartoon Universe, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 least favorite things about the Ben 10 reboot. Get it? Because Ben 10... yeah, I'm sure you did.
No, I don't get it. Is that supposed to be a joke? Cause I don't get the joke. I like the reboot's jokes better than yours.
Anyways, for those unaware, the Ben 10 franchise is getting another addition to its roster. But instead of a sequel like Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, or Omniverse, this one is a complete reboot of the original series. Which means that this show can change or copy pretty much anything it wants without much thought regarding the existing story and lore of the previous shows. And while I do not have a problem with reboots if they are done well, this one is unfortunately not.
Yes, it is.
Which seems to be the trend of Cartoon Network lately. But I will admit that this list may end up seeming a little nitpicky, especially to those who like the reboot despite its flaws. But these are just my personal opinions as a huge fan of the original series. You should see the toy collection I had. And this list does not mean there are no redeeming aspects of the show, although you'll have to find those for yourself because I have seen few so far after watching a variety of clips as well as a few episodes.
Yep, so this woman basically just said she watched a few clips and episodes and made her conclusion. There are like, I think 30 episodes currently out. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure I've seen 28 of them. And I like the reboot. You've seen a few episodes and a few clips, and you make a whole 11 minute and 13 second video trash talking the reboots. I don't really know if it's really that accurate since you only watched a few episodes and clips. Okay?
Time to start the list. Number 10, voice actors. I've watched a few episodes and a ton of clips of the show as I said earlier, and I feel that the voice actors don't work out too well for most of the aliens and the characters. Some that I saw that I really did not like at all were Stinkfly, Grey Matter, Upgrade, and of course Grandpa Max.
First off, there's a difference between aliens and characters. Second off, I mean, I like Stinkfly's old voice better too, sorry. I like his old voice better too, but his new voice isn't exactly that bad. I don't really know how you can pick on someone's voice. And what were the other ones she had? She said Grey Matter. Grey Matter actually sounds like a smart person now. I mean, he's not a person, he's an alien, but he actually sounds smart. And what's wrong with Upgrade's voice? He just sounds mechanical instead of basically having Ben's voice with like a computerized sound. And Grandpa Max, I mean, I guess you might not be used to his new voice because you've listened to his old voice for so long, but at least it's not like he has like Miley Cyrus's voice or something where he sounds like a woman or something. He still sounds like an old man.
I'll forgive Accelerate because he is voiced by Josh Keaton, who is Shiro from Voltron, but for a lot of the other voices I have very mixed feelings. What I am trying to get at here is that there is a new cast for everyone except Ben, which is disappointing because the sequels were for the most part able to pull this part off. Is it really that hard to get voice actors again? After all, this is a reboot that is not being made 30 years later, like with some reboots like Voltron or Thundercats. Number 9, trying too hard to be hip. This show is really trying to connect with its target audience, which I can't blame it for, but it just doesn't pull it off. I could show you many examples where the show makes Ben nothing more than a living meme. In fact, here are a few. Enjoy yourselves.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
I gotta admit, when he said look at his lips, I giggled a little. But at the same time, you just basically you took pictures from a few parts of the of episodes from the reboot and did that, but I don't know. It's just a few. I mean, you could probably do that for a lot of shows. So, I mean, what are you doing? Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe you might even be able to do that with other Ben 10 series. So,
And while I have nothing against cartoon characters using smartphones and attempting to make viral videos, I feel like a lot of these things are forced and are not done well.
show me your Carfax. I mean, proof. Show me your proof, lady.
Number 8. The tone shift. This show, as with many other recent reboots, has been in some ways dumbed down from the original. The original show had great characters, story, lore, and most importantly for me as a child, aliens.
But the reboot has all of those things. What are you talking about?
Reboots are allowed to make huge differences, but it is important to respect the source material by making the new show even better, or at least try, which is something that I feel that the reboot for Ben 10 is struggling with a lot.
You know who else is struggling? You! You struggle at making this video. You can't even make any good points.
Instead of having a good balance of comedy and action, the new show is pretty much all comedy. Of course, there are battles here and there, but I feel like it is much more comedy-centered than the original.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this part so much because I already talked about it in my video called The Ben 10 Reboot Does Not Suck, but the reboot does not have more comedy than action, and it's really annoying when people see that because most of the reboot is more if anything, for most episodes it's either more action than comedy or the balance of comedy and action. Overall, the original series had the same amount of comedy as action, or it would also have more action than comedy. The reboots it does have more comedy than the original series, but it doesn't have more comedy than action. I have not seen one episode where it's just mostly jokes and barely any fighting. And I've watched 28 episodes. So I don't know what you're talking about when you only watched a few episodes of the reboot and I watched 28.
And I will admit that the original was a bit silly at times, but these types of things are a constant in the show, as I just showed you a moment ago. Number 7. The show is unnecessary. It's only been about 2 years since Omniverse ended, if I remember correctly, and I know exactly why they made the reboot, money, but like I said before, it should have been executed much differently. And obviously, the original did something right if it was not only able to sell a boatload of toys, but also have a story that anybody could enjoy. Personally, Ben 10 as a franchise has never been as good as it was in the original series, but there has never been a point until now where I was questioning the existence of one of the entries in the series every time I watch an episode.
Okay, so I just spit out my popcorn from, like, are you serious? I can't even comprehend this. So, she's saying that there has not been any any series of Ben 10 better than the original series. Most of the all of the sequels to the original series, they're all better than the original series. Alien Force had a darker tone, more serious. It really taught me what life is going to be like. It really had that more feeling. And then it made the comedy even more funny because it had less comedy. Ultimate Alien, it had more comedy, but the jokes were still funny. It was cooler because it had Ultimate Aliens. And then Omniverse, it really had a mix of funny moments, sad moments, happy moments. It really had a mix and it was really good. So despite the fact that it didn't have Ultimate Aliens, it was still really good, and Omniverse, in my opinion, is the best series out of all Ben 10 series. You probably based off of what you're saying from the reboots, I feel like you only watched a few episodes of each series and concluded that the Ben 10 reboot is that the Ben 10 original series is the best series. So if you're gonna trash talk any show, I think you better watch more episodes of the show before you trash talk it.
Number 6. The villains and background alien character designs. The background character designs are just plain boring, with most just being a larger and more cartoony version of an animal found on Earth. Or at least I think they're supposed to be aliens. Half the time I don't really feel like the show explains these things and just forces the audience to accept whatever it throws at them.
First off, if you actually you say you like the original series, in this episode that you're showing, it's a mutant, and you know it is because if you watch the whole episode, it had Dr. Animo at the end, and at the end of the episode, and you know that Dr. Animo creates mutants. So you know that Slurp Stack, which is the mutant, the purple thing that you're seeing right now, you know that Slurp Stack is a mutant. So it doesn't need to be explained. You should be able to figure that out yourself. A little kid is telling you stuff, and it's just sad. This is just sad.
The original show and Omniverse had great character designs. This, in many ways, is a step backwards, and I will elaborate more on the art style in a little bit. The only decent designs so far are the ones they borrowed from previous shows. This show has the ability to screw up past characters pretty badly, so I'm not sure if I want to see some of my favorite older villains make a return of sorts in this show.
Oh, and about the characters, what's wrong with them? I want you to tell me what's wrong with them, because in my opinion, the reboots, even though I like Omniverse better than any other series, Omniverse is my favorite show ever. But the Omniverse, it just didn't look right. Everything looked all deformed. I didn't really see a lot of circular things in Omniverse. The reboots, it has better animation or whatever. It had better looks than Omniverse did, even though Omniverse is better. So, how is it a step back? It doesn't mess up any characters. First off, I've never seen Zombozo scarier in my life. This has to be one of the scariest Zombozos I've ever seen. Look at his teeth. Look at his face. He looks scarier than the original series Zombozo. He looks even worse than Omniverse Zombozo. Okay? Vilgax looks pretty lit. I've seen leaked, what are they called? Leaked pictures of Vilgax. He looks pretty cool. He looks almost as scary as the original series Vilgax. Alien Force / Ultimate Alien Vilgax. He looked cool. He looked more cool than scary. And then Omniverse Vilgax. You get the idea. So the reboot Vilgax looks pretty cool. I don't know what you're talking about. Animo looks pretty. He doesn't look that much different than the original series.
Number 5. Small details. Did I say I was going to go nitpicky? Well, here it is, summed up in one entry on the list. First, we have that the background designs looked rushed and incomplete.
Okay, so you're saying that the background looks all undetailed or whatever. You showed one clip. You showed one clip from one episode out of the many, many episodes that have currently been out. And you're saying that it looks undetailed.
The theme song is a bad attempt on the original without any of the cool lyrics or designs of the aliens.
And also, the theme song is not a bad attempt on the original, and the lyrics, most of the Ben, actually, how many? Yeah, half of the Ben 10 series that are out besides the reboots don't have lyrics, okay? The only ones that have lyrics are the original series and Omniverse. The other ones don't have any lyrics. So, lyrics don't make a show any better. They just, I don't even know, you either like the show with the lyrics don't make the show bad or good.
Each episode is now 11 minutes instead of 22, so if you didn't think that they were trying to make this a comedy, this is pretty much proof of that.
Okay, so I also don't exactly like that the episodes are 11 minutes instead of 22 minutes, but how does that make it a comedy show? That's not proof of anything. That's like saying regular show is a comedy show. That's like saying Adventure Time's a comedy show. It doesn't make it comedy. That doesn't make it a comedy show. Like, what are you talking about? The length of the episodes does not determine the amount of comedy inside of the show.
If I remember correctly, in the original series, Ben had a secret identity, but in this show, he isn't really trying to keep that anymore.
I kind of get where she's getting this from, since she only watched a few episodes from the reboot. I can understand, and a few clips. I can understand why she thinks this, but it's not like Ben is going out just like he recorded himself in take 10, which is an episode, and I saw a clip where he was also recording himself as aliens, but it's not like he's going out and like, I don't know, what's a place. It's not like he's at a football game and then turns into aliens in front of everyone when everyone's conscious and everyone's looking at him. Hey guys, look at me. I'm Ben 10. I have an Omnitrix. I can turn into aliens. It's not like he's doing that, okay? He's more open about it. I can see that she thinks he's more open about it, and he kind of is, but he's not super open about it.
In fact, he's literally making videos of himself in alien form. So there's that.
I like how she says literally. Literally. It's literally worse than the... I don't get why people say literally. And by the way, it's pronounced literally. But why do people say literally super much? Like, I literally am going to die if I don't eat this sandwich. I'm literally, I don't know, jumping off the cliff. I am literally taking my shirt off. Like, people overuse the word literally a lot, and I don't really know why. Like, why do you overuse the word literally? The word literally, I could have just said literally. The word literally means, let's search it up. It means in a literal matter or sense. Exactly. So that's like, so you use literally when you're trying to say an expression, or you're not trying to say an expression, but what you're saying could also be an expression. So like the expression "keep your shirt on," it basically means calm down. But if you say literally keep your shirt on, it means then you're actually trying to take your shirt off. Or if you're saying I'm pooped, the expression means you're just exhausted. If you say I'm literally pooped, it means you're actually like having poop or something like that. That's when you use the word literally. You can't just, I don't get why people overuse the word literally so much. It's literally annoying.
Number 4, art style. This is probably one of the most infuriating entries on the list, mostly because it is literally worse than the original series, which aired over 10 years ago. The art style is super simplified and looks like no effort was put into making it any different looking than some of the other reboots. The original was not the best looking show, I'll admit, but for the type of show it worked well. Want to know what I'm reminded of with this reboot? The episode Super Alien Hero Buddy Adventures from the original show. I think that episode actually predicted the arrival of the show around a decade before it happened, and with that you can see that the art style was not the best, and it's almost like the reboot is trying to emulate that in some ways. Moving on. Number 3, lack of originality. This is in fact the laziest reboot yet in my opinion, mostly because it doesn't do anything new. Okay, not doing anything new is overstating things a bit, but I respect reboots a lot more that take concepts from the original and put a new spin on it, not just copy and paste while simultaneously being dumbed down.
It's not copy and paste while simultaneously being dumbed down, okay? I already talked about this. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my video of the Ben 10 reboot does not suck. And by the way, I'm gonna put that video in the link to that video in the description, and I'll also put it in the end screen and annotations, the end screen. So like at the end of this video, you're gonna see it probably. So yeah, but it's not a copy and paste, okay? You can say that about any series that came after the original series. Like, You know, I'm not even gonna mention them because I already talked about this in the Ben 10 reboot does not suck. Just go watch that video and you'll see what I mean.
They reuse villains and the overall story of the original series, with the origin story of sorts. Because it is a reboot, it has the ability to redo every single episode if it wants to, and I already know it's taking advantage of this fact.
The reboot isn't exactly a complete like reboot. It's like super reboot, like starting over 100% completely. And I'm kind of glad it's not that because you know it could have been worse. Okay, it could have been worse. Luckily, it's instead of a reboot, it's kind of more of a continuation of the original series, except he's still in summer. So that's what I see it as. So yeah.
I know they are doing a wrestling episode, which was done in the original series, and unsurprisingly Forearms is in it. This show could have put in new aliens, could have made an original plot, and so many more things.
And there are new aliens. Well, right now the only new alien is Overflow, and um, he is it is said that there will be new aliens. So I mean, you're complaining about something when it's this. When was this video made? It was made in November 16th, 2016. This was October, November. Yeah. So this was made one month after the original, or no, this was made 1 month after the reboot was available to be watched. It was available in the UK, not in America. And since she has an American accent, I know that she's probably from America. But you could have. I mean, I didn't want to wait to watch it. I just watched it online because I didn't want to wait until 2017 to watch it. So you could have done that, and then there was like 2 episodes per week. So yeah, since there's 4 weeks in a month, she had it was made to November 16th. November 9th was the dates where it was available. So yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna do all that stuff, but I got off track. I'm completely I forgot what I was talking about.
But none of this happened. Sure, the target audience may not remember the original series too well, but this does not make it acceptable to not think of new ideas. And for aliens, they literally just renamed Water Hazard to Overflow, which means that their take on new aliens is pretty funny if that's what they consider a new alien.
Overflow and Water Hazard are not the same alien. They are both the same species. They're both orchins, but they're not the same alien. They're different aliens. And I'm pretty sure Water Hazard is comes from an unknown planet in the Andromeda galaxy, and Overflow comes from Kyosana. So they're different aliens, and some of the powers are the same, some are different. Like Water Hazard was not able to fly from shooting water, like as propulsion. Water Hazard didn't have water blades that could cut through things like that. Some of the powers are the same, like hydrokinesis, underwater breathing. Overflow doesn't have a bubble shield. Overflow doesn't have enhanced strength. There are many differences and also many similarities between Overflow and Water Hazard. They are the same species, but they are different aliens, okay?
Number 2, what they took out. If they are going to redo pretty much everything and not be original in any way, why the heck did they take out some of the coolest aliens, like Ripjaws, Wildmutt, and Ghost Freak? Did focus groups show that these aliens were not good enough, or was it just that they were too hard to make action figures for? Sure, they weren't very humanoid looking, but they were amazing characters. Also,
there is going to be more aliens in the reboots, as well as more villains, more episodes, and also there might even be a new battle mode for the Omnitrix in season 2, because there were some leaked images, or not, yeah, not exactly leaked images, but there were some pictures I saw on the Ben 10 wiki of toys from the reboot, and they kind of looked like the Omnitrix went in battle mode, and that might actually, it might, who knows, maybe it'll be like Haywire's, where they'll have toys of it, but it won't be in the show, but it might actually be in the show. The Omnitrix might have battle mode, so you never know. The reboot can get even better than it already is.
So something that they took out was the dynamic between Ben and Gwen. It is very different in this show, and some may like the change, but it seems for the most part now that Gwen will agree with almost everything Ben does.
No, they don't really agree on everything that, like, I already talked about this in my video. The Ben 10 reboot does not suck, so I'm not going to talk about it that much now, but they don't agree on the same things. I even showed clips of this in my video of them arguing. And I didn't just take clips from one episode, take one clip from one episode of the reboot. I took unlike you did, I took a bunch of episodes from the reboots, and I showed clips of them arguing, not agreeing on things. Gwen and Ben don't agree on everything.
In the past, it was cool to see them work together when they put aside their differences, but now it will be treated as nothing special.
Nope!
And finally, my least favorite thing about the Ben 10 reboot is the aliens. I could go on about this for a long time, but I'll try to keep it somewhat short. So we had the designs of the aliens and the total redesigns that we got. They got rid of Wildvine's legs and totally redid Stinkfly, most likely, like I said before, to create action figures for them. And it's kind of sad because Stinkfly was one of my favorite characters in the original along with Accelerate, and now Stinkfly doesn't even match his name anymore.
In my opinion, Stinkfly looks more like a fly than he did in the original, or than he did in the other series.
They really could have just made a new alien altogether. And with the redesigns of a bunch of these characters, it makes them seem a lot less alien and more like a costume Ben is putting on.
I don't understand how the reboot makes it look like Ben is putting on a costume. It doesn't look anything like a costume. Like, if you watch the transformations, which, I mean, you probably have watched the transformations, just because it doesn't show his, his bones changing or his skin changing, or you see the things going up his, limbs or veins popping, or you know what I mean. I don't exactly know how to describe the transformations. But you could say that if you talk about the reboot's transformations looking like costumes, then you could say that for Omniverse, because it doesn't show the bones changing, the bones getting bigger or smaller, or his limbs changing or anything like that. Just because it doesn't show those things doesn't mean it looks like he's putting on a costume.
Like I said before, for all the aliens, the design is almost too simple. Not to mention that the creators just plain forgot how to draw or color some of the more untouched aliens. Then there are the transformation sequences. These are pretty mediocre and do not capture the feeling that Ben is morphing into an alien creature. Like I said prior, these are now just costumes, not some extraterrestrial being.
Can a costume do this?
Club.
Introducing Diamond Golf Form.
Really?
Here we go!
Here I come.
To be fair, no series has been able to capture the spirit of the original series in terms of transformation sequences, so I did not have high hopes for them in the first place. Then, finally, we have the powers. This show gives a bunch of the aliens new powers because apparently what they could originally do was not good enough, and for action figure purposes, they need to do more than what they could originally do. Some examples of this that I saw were that Diamond Head can pretty much now shoot out ice.
How does Diamond Head shoot ice? Like, when I was littler, back before I could barely talk, and I watched the original series, I thought Diamond's head shot out ice. I didn't even know he shot out diamonds.
And Upgrade can now control things with no technological component, like a skateboard. I don't know whether I should laugh or cry. All these things combined make what should be the best part about the show pretty much the worst. When comparing the aliens of the original show to the current ones, there is no contest. And that was 10 things from the Ben 10 reboot that annoyed me quite a bit. Some of these things were definitely worse than others, but I would like to know your opinion of the show if you have given it a watch.
My opinion of the show is that it's not exactly the worst Ben 10 series, but it's not the best either. It could be better, but it's already good as it is now, and I think it's going to get better. From now to season 2, I think it's already gonna be better, and I'm pretty sure season 2 is gonna be lit. There's a lot of foreshadowing. Since I've actually watched the episodes, there's whoa, okay, I almost tipped over the table. Yeah, I'm leaning onto the table right now, by the way. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so there's a lot of foreshadowing in many of the episodes. Also the Vilgax episode looks pretty lit. So does that Animo. I saw a clip from Animo with Animo in it. With Animo and his frog. I saw it on Facebook and it also looks pretty cool. I think the reboot will get better. But it's already not as bad as I thought it would be, and it's not as bad as people are making it to be. So if you watch this girl or a lady, I don't really know what she is, but all I know is that she's a female. I recommend you check out the reboots. It's not as bad as people say it is. Okay? I'll tell you that. And, yeah.
I know it won't be out in the United States until next year, but in other countries it has already started airing. So leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I don't know if I'll be doing more Ben 10 reboot videos. This one was hard enough for me to make after all, but you never know. Don't forget to follow Cartoon Universe on Twitter at CartoonUV, and always I would like to thank our Patreon supporters for their contributions to this channel. Thank you for watching.
I'm not gonna follow you on Twitter, but you're welcome for watching the video. Because I watched the whole video. I didn't really like your video, that's why I made a video on it. I dislike this video more than I dislike Sarah's Secret, so, you know, that's kind of, you know. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not her video, but my video that I'm making on her video. I hope you enjoy my video. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, and share, and praise the Lord, and peace out.